Hey guys, it's Story. What is up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Story and I talk about books and streaming. Today we are talking about one of my favorite things of all time, the Enneagram. I am obsessed with the Enneagram. I've been obsessed with it for about a year now, and I love anything related to it. Any type of recommendation or business product related to like the Enneagram, I'm all about. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a type 3, an intense type 3, and I want to give you guys some recommendations based on your Enneagram type. So if you don't know what the Enneagram is or what your type is, I will leave a link in the description, or maybe it'll be in a card up here somewhere, to the Enneagram Institute, I think it's called. It is a website. It will tell you about every type. You actually can take a quiz on there and it will give you your top 3 types. Personally, I recommend typing yourself. You know yourself the best, and it's not really an astrology type of situation. Like, you can read through it and pick which one you are. It goes off of a lot of internal things, like what you're motivated by or what you do things for, like why you think the way you do, stuff like that. So it's very easy to type yourself, in my opinion. But this is actually the start to a mini Enneagram series here on my channel. The next few videos are all going to be about the Enneagram. I don't know if I should tell you what they are. Let's just say there are a lot of collaborations coming. There are a ton of other YouTubers that will be in the videos. You can probably guess what we're doing, but they will all come out a week from today. So this coming Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 3 days in a row, you will be seeing 9 different YouTubers, or booktubers if you want to call them that. And it was so much fun to do. It was even more fun to edit. So of course I will have those videos in the description once they are live, and I will put them in cards up here. I never know which side it's on. If you want to be notified for what's coming up, or you just want to keep up with me in general, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you feel like it. Of course, like the video if you love the Enneagram. And oh yeah, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I made a new bookstagram at Storybook, so it's the same handle as my YouTube handle. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the recommendations. I'm hoping this doesn't take too long. I have a lot of recommendations for each type, so I'm thinking I'm only going to film half this video today, so you might see me like switch outfits or whatever. Before I get started, I want to mention a really cool, unique, trendy company called Enneagram Coffee. You can order their Enneagram specific coffee on enneagramcoffee.com. I have a couple here actually that they sent me, and I'm so excited to try them out. So like I said, I'm a type 3, and if you haven't figured that out yet, you probably don't really know me. A lot of people mistake me for a type 7 because I'm very like enthusiastic, but yeah, I'm not actually a type 7. Like, literally everyone thinks I'm a type 7, and that's really flattering because type 7s are supposed to be positive and optimistic. I'm not optimistic. Like, internally, I'm a pessimist. I'm very critical and hard on myself. I'm never doing good enough. I can always do better, and that is a type 3. But without getting too into it, the type 3 coffee is what I asked for, of course, and it says smells like success. It is from Costa Rica. It is cocoa, lemon, smooth, and balanced. Those are the notes, sorry. And on the back, they have this long paragraph that is very specific to your type, and then they give you the reason to why this is the best coffee for your type. Costa Rica is known for producing some of the world's most award-winning coffees, so yeah, it's a little crinkled, but I'm going to be trying this in the next video to come in this little mini series. I'm starting with types 2, 3, and 4, so I will be in that first video. And yeah, I'm going to sample this coffee for you guys. And then my boyfriend is a type 5, and so we ordered him a type 5 as well. He's going to sample this coffee in the second video. And this one's really fragrant. I'm obsessed with it. It says all the answers to all of your questions. Okay, maybe not, but it's still great coffee. And then of course it has the same kind of format on the back, and it's from Kenya, which is pretty cool. This coffee is noted for its extraordinary competence at producing high quality coffee. So yeah, super excited to try these. If you want to check out what your type's coffee is, I will have a link to their website down below, as well as a discount code. They kindly gave me a discount code for you guys. It is 10% off, and it is Storybook. So if you want to go get your type's coffee, be sure to check them out. I can't wait to try it. If you want to know if these are actually any good, just wait for that video and then maybe try it out. But I mean, it's coffee. Like, you can't go wrong with coffee. Now onto the book recommendations. So the first type, of course, is type 1, which is the Perfectionist, or you could call them the Reformer. A good example for this type is Monica from Friends, or Hermione from Harry Potter. That's a really good one. Hi, just popping in here real quick to mention that Caroline from the Vampire Diaries, a great representation of a type 1. A very extreme, almost unhealthy type 1. Also, if you like Marvel, Captain America is a type 1. The rational, idealistic type, principled, purposeful, self-controlled, and a perfectionist. Their basic fear is being corrupt/evil or defective. Their basic desire is to be good, to have integrity, to be balanced. Key motivations, they want to be right, to strive higher and improve everything, to be consistent with their ideals, to justify themselves, to be beyond criticism so as to not be condemned by anyone. So while I'm going through my own recommendations, I'm going to display even more book recs for your type. I feel like only 2 or 3 books is just not enough, and I've actually compiled a list of Enneagram sources to come up with all of these. I'll link them down below, of course, but there are a ton of YouTube videos and articles. So basically I went through all of them, like literally all of them, and chose what I think are the best recs. So for type 1, this was the hardest for me. I can be a perfectionist for sure, but I don't know, it's hard for me to like understand type 1s sometimes, and it really shouldn't be between like type 3 and type 1, but I have a friend that says she's a type 1 and I just don't see her as a type 1 at all. So I actually only have 2 book recs for this one. The first one is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, one of my favorite nonfiction books. It's a great audiobook if you don't want to read it physically as well, but it's basically what it says. It teaches you to just like live your life and not care too much. Really just actually live your life. And I just feel like that is perfect for the type 1. I can't think of any other book that would be more perfect for the type 1. They may not relate really to him and they may not agree with some things he says, but I feel like it's what they need to hear. Next, I'm going to recommend a romance in case you like romance and want a recommendation. I've actually recommended this book for more than one type, and that's just because type 1 is so hard for me to recommend books for. I don't know what it is, but I'm going with The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. As a lot of you know, I love Christina Lauren, but I feel like this book is really good because either the main character is a type 1 or her boss is a type 1, something like that, but it is a work romance type of thing, and we're following 2 young adults trying to go into their careers and like move forward. I feel like that's a really good perspective for a type 1 as well. Yeah, I'm a type 3 and I love this. I gave it 5 stars. It's not a super thrilling romance. Not a lot happens in Christina Lauren books, to be honest, but it is still really good. I really enjoyed it, and it is a quick audiobook if you want to go that route. But of course, if you need more recs, there will be more on the screen here. Next is type 2, which is the helper. They're the caring and interpersonal type, generous, demonstrative, people-pleasing, and possessive. So if you don't know what a wing is, I won't get into it, but if you do know what a wing is, I've always said I am a 3-wing 4, but honestly, I identify a lot with the 2s as well. So I think I'm just very grounded. I have some 4 in me, I have some 2 in me, but I definitely relate to this type because I feel like in a social setting, I need to make sure everyone else is happy and entertained. 2s are empathetic, sincere, and warm-hearted. They are friendly, generous, and self-sacrificing, but can also be sentimental, flattering, and people-pleasing. Their basic fear is of being unwanted or unworthy of being loved. Basic desire is to feel loved. Their key motivations are they want to be loved, to express their feelings for others, to be needed and appreciated, to get others to respond to them, to vindicate their claims about themselves. A good example of a type 2 is Peeta Mellark from The Hunger Games. Also Hagrid from Harry Potter is a type 2. Jumping in from the future, again, to just add some more characters to the list, Elena Gilbert from Vampire Diaries is a type 2. She is the helper. She's like Bella in the sense that she wants to save all these vampires, but like she's the human that everyone's fighting for. Like, get over yourself. Also, Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service is a type 2, of course. The first one I'm recommending for type 2 is The Alchemist. I can't think of the author's name for some reason, but it's a really well-known book and a well-known author. Another nonfiction for you, but the main character isn't a type 2 at all, but basically he's going on this spiritual type of journey and he constantly is getting help. So I think it would be good for a type 2 to read this because then they could be in another person's perspective, like looking at someone that's helping them instead of the other way around. It's a really, really quick read and everyone should read this anyways. It's like a very known, you know, spiritual guide, non-fiction book. It's very quick, it's very easy, so just give it a try. I'm also going to recommend The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren to the type 2 as well. Basically, the main character's job is to be an assistant, and the guy she's going after is an assistant as well, and so they're constantly trying to help the people they are assistants for and then also help each other. I don't know, I feel like if a type 2 does like a romance, they probably would like something like this. Like I said, I really liked it and I gave it 5 stars, but I would also recommend An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I have not read that yet, but I'm dying to. I know it's going to be a really good epic fantasy, and I know there's a really good romance in there, I'm pretty sure. So if you want a fantasy rec, there you go. Someone else recommended this. A type 2 friend that I have read this and really liked this, so I know a type 2 will like this. Perks of Being a Wallflower is always a great one as well. I feel like the main character is probably, oh yeah, the main character is definitely a type 2. So I haven't wrote this down as my recommendation, but I still do really feel like Perks of Being a Wallflower would be a pretty good one. It's definitely about like a kid going through high school, and it has some mental health type of themes, and the main character, like I said, is a type 2, I'm pretty sure. Next, of course, is the type 3, which is what I am. I don't really need to read exactly what the type 3 is. I know pretty well what a type 3 is. I go to therapy for some type 3 things. But anyways, I want to be consistent with all these types though, so I'm going to go ahead and read off what the Enneagram Institute has to say. The type 3 is called the achiever or the performer. They are the success-oriented, pragmatic type. Adaptable, excelling, driven, and image conscious. I can never say that word right. 3s are self-assured, attractive and charming, ambitious, competent, and energetic. They can also be conscious and highly driven for advancement, diplomatic and poised, overly concerned with their image and what others think of them. They have problems with workaholism and competitiveness. Yep. Their basic fear is of being worthless, and their basic desire is to feel valuable and worthwhile. Key motivations: they want to be affirmed, to distinguish themselves from others, to have attention, to be admired, and to impress others. I could go into so much detail about the type 3, but I feel like that's a pretty good summary. That is why this coffee says smells like success. Everything needs to be productive. Like I will feel like shit if I don't do at least one productive thing a day, and I've known this about myself for a very, very long time. It's all about productivity and efficiency, and we have constant to-do lists. Like the to-do list never stops in the back of my head. It's a fun time. Of course, Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles is a great representation of a type 3. He just wants to be successful, known. He's very ambitious and hardworking. Draco from Harry Potter is a really good representation. I believe Harry Potter is a type 3 as well. Some people think he is a type 9, the Peacekeeper. I don't know. He's too ambitious and hardworking and just like kind of that traditional jock in general, but he's also the chosen one, and he does not run away from Voldemort. Like, he's ready to kick his ass. So I think he's a type 3. So obviously I have a ton of recommendations for you guys. Half of the screen you will see in a bit of the book recs are my recommendations. A lot of other people recommend the same books as well, but just know a lot of these are my own recommendations because obviously I know what a type 3 would like. So the first one I have to recommend, of course, is The Hating Game. So this is going to be the romance recommendation for a type 3. Everyone recommends this book for them, and it's for a reason. If you're ignoring all of these book recs and won't read The Hating Game, like, please just read The Hating Game. It's what got me into the genre. I read books like The Hating Game all the time. It's addicting for me. I specifically like work romances as opposed to normal romances. I love fantasy romances as well, but if it's going to be contemporary, I want it to be set in the workplace. And obviously type 3s can be workaholics just because they're so go all the time. They want to get as much done as they can and be known for their work and their success. So it makes sense. The Hating Game is about a guy and a girl going for the same promotion, but then of course there's some like lust in there. So it's basically like the ultimate hate to love book, and that's my favorite trope. So I'm gonna recommend The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck as well, because type 3s just care way too freaking much. Like I said, this is one of my favorite non-fictions, so I highly recommend it for a 3. You just gotta let go every now and then, you know? Like, we're just so driven and ambitious that we have our eye on the prize and nothing else, and you just need to go out of your body and realize that sometimes. So this is a good book recommendation for that. Of course, I'm gonna recommend Caraval by Stephanie Garber. You guys know this is one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. I know a type 3 would love this. I know a type 3 would love the romance, the fun, the entertainment. I read for entertainment. Like, reading is a break from life for me. Like, I don't read to be a critical reader. Like, I want to be entertained and have fun. And if you like fantasy and you are the same way with all that, then you will definitely like the Caraval series. It just gets better. Each book gets better and better. My favorite character, Jax, is in the second one. I know a type 3 would like the second one, trust me, but yeah, I've recommended this book like literally 1,000 times on my channel, so I should probably shut up about it now, but type 3, Read it, please. Oh, I should probably say what it's about. This magical game on the secret island that is ran by this famous magician, and the main character and her sister get tickets to go to this game, but the trick is that the sister has been kidnapped and she's the prize of the game. So now the main character is like, what the hell? Now I have to save my sister, so I have to go. And then just to mention the last two real quick, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. A lot of these recommendations are also good recommendations for type 4, which is what I'm gonna do next, obviously. But Seven Husbands, again, it's just so entertaining and it's mysterious. I need mystery in a book. I know a lot of type 3s need mystery in a book to, you know, be hooked, but you're going to identify with the main character. Like, oh my god, you're going to identify with the main character. She is such a type 3. She just wants success and power and money and fame. She's definitely a Slytherin and she's amazing. I love her so much. I love Evelyn Hugo. One of my favorite books of all time. You need to read that. Hating You, Dating You is another work romance and it is by Christina Lauren. It's an older book actually, but it's almost the exact same setup as The Hating Game. So if you like The Hating Game and you want a work romance rec, then you should definitely read Hating You, Dating You. And then just to mention real quick, I should have mentioned this one first, to be honest, because it's probably up there with The Hating Game as the best rec for type 3s, and that is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. Wow, I've never related to a main character more in my life. Our main character in this book is 100% a type 3. You know from the get-go she is a type 3, and the audiobook is amazing, by the way, if you don't want to read it physically. The narrator is amazing and the writing's amazing, and the characters, the plot, like where the story goes, it's all amazing. Like 5 out of 5 stars. But basically our main character finds a mysterious robot. She thinks it's a sculpture, but later finds out it's a robot that's randomly in New York City. She posts a YouTube video about it. Come to find out there are robots placed all over the world. No one knows what they are. April May becomes famous overnight because of her YouTube video. And so it's a lot about the mystery of finding out what's going on, but it's actually a commentary on like media and social media and how we treat like celebrities and influencers and stuff like that. And oh my god, this book is just amazing and I love April May and I'm dying to read the next one. Alright, sorry for the change of clothes and the different frame, if it's different and whatnot. It's a different day. I lost lighting, so I think I went over what a type 4 was, so now I will get into the recs. I actually lost the footage for this, so I will just explain it here real quickly, but I put everything on the screen so that you can read it if I'm not detailed enough. But the type 4 is the individualist. They're the sensitive, introspective type. They're very self-aware, sensitive, and reserved. They're emotionally honest, creative, and personal, but they can also be very moody and self-conscious. Hold themselves back so that they're not feeling vulnerable and defective. They can also feel disdainful and exempt from ordinary ways of living. So they'll have problems with melancholy, self-indulgence, and self-pity. Their basic fear is that they won't have an identity or personal significance in the world, so their basic desire is to find themselves in their significance. Key motivations: they want to express themselves and their individuality, to create and surround themselves with beauty, to maintain certain moods and feelings, to withdraw to protect their self-image, to take care of emotional needs before attending to anything else in order to attract a rescuer for them. Type 4s are personally some of my favorite people. I don't know if my wing is a 2 or a 4 like I mentioned before, but I'm a very creative person and I know 4s as well, and I just really enjoy them. I'm more extrovert than a lot of type 4s I know, but they definitely bring out my creative, kind of introverted, personal side, so I really love type 4s. A really good type 4 character, of course, is Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. She is definitely an individual. She's definitely unique and creative, wallows in like pity or melancholy when it comes to thinking all of these like magical creatures are after her and stuff. If you've ever seen Lady Bird, the main character Lady Bird is definitely a type 4, a young type 4, so you might relate to like your high school days if you watch Lady Bird. And then also Anakin Skywalker to a T, a type 4, because he definitely likes to be in his depression, kind of melancholy, and he definitely thinks he's an individual. Doesn't he? I mean, he kind of is. He's the chosen one. The first book I'm going to recommend is, I think, the best recommendation for a type 4, and that is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, I think is what her name is. This is the same author that wrote Eat, Pray, Love. I've talked about this book quite a few times on my channel now, I feel like, but it's one of the best audiobooks I've listened to this year. But Big Magic is basically about creativity and inspiration that comes with creativity. So how to stay creative and to constantly be inspired, how to get re-inspired, that sort of thing. So you don't have to be an artist or a graphic designer, you know, whatever, to read this book. If you think you are a creative individual, then you will love this book. she just talks about what it's like to be creative and how to express yourself, and again, just like how to stay inspired. My creative outlet is YouTube. I love filming and editing videos, reading, obviously doing recs and stuff like that, and so I really love this book. This is such a good audiobook if you want something nonfiction related and you are a type 4. Just please listen to this. I know 4s will love this. And then I put Caraval on here again. I'm sorry for recommending this book so much. I just love it so much, and no type will like it more than a type 4. I feel like type 4s like books like The Night Circus, The Starless Sea, Strange the Dreamer, that sort of thing. Very like whimsical and magical and creative, very like lyrical writing. That is the creative side to writing. A type 4 wants to read that. They want to feel like they are in this specific creative, unique world, and that's what Caraval is. It's just so unique and it's so much fun. It's so entertaining. You just have to read Caraval if you're a type 4. If you don't like the first book, the second and third book in the series are better than the first in my opinion, so I would definitely keep going if you're just feeling like average about the first book. I don't think you won't like the first book, but it might just feel like an average book to you, but obviously it's related a lot to The Night Circus, so if you love The Night Circus, then you really need to read Caraval. And then I also have Evelyn Hugo on this one as well, just because she's very like emotional and dramatic, and it's very like nostalgic. Type 4s love nostalgia. They just want to be submersed in nostalgia, and so they're gonna like books set in the older time that makes them nostalgic, but it's also very just like lyrical and fun and creative, and I feel like that would be a good one for this as well. A lot of people like Evelyn Hugo, so that's why I recommend this one a lot for different types, because I truly do feel like different types do like Evelyn Hugo. But if you're gonna take anything from these recs, definitely read Big Magic, and then read something that's like lyrical and just a beautiful creative world like Caraval or The Starless Sea, Night Circus, that sort of thing. Next are the type 5s. I know this type pretty well now because my boyfriend is a type 5, and let me tell you, a type 3 and a type 5 together is very interesting. They are the intense cerebral type. They're perceptive, innovative, secretive, and isolated. 5s are alert, insightful, and curious. They are able to concentrate and focus on developing complex ideas and skills. Independent, innovative, and inventive. They can also become preoccupied with their thoughts and imaginary constructs. They become detached yet high-strung and intense. Their basic fear is being useless, helpless, or incapable, and then their basic desire is to be capable and competent. Key motivations: they want to possess knowledge, to understand the environment, to have everything figured out as a way of defending the self from threats of the environment. I was trying to figure out my boyfriend's type, and I read this and was like, no brainer, this is you. He's such a specific person that I never thought something like this could pinpoint him that way, but I can't tell you how many things I get explained to me that I already know, or just like things that he learns randomly because it's something he didn't know and he just wants to like teach me about it. I love it, obviously, but it's just really funny that there's an actual type for him. The best type 5 character I could think of is definitely Sherlock Holmes. He is a type 5 to a T. That one's a pretty easy one. I don't really feel like I need to explain that, but also Dumbledore from Harry Potter. My favorite HB character. He is to a T a type 5. He loves learning absolutely everything so that he can master everything. That's why he's like the best wizard in the world. And he definitely can be so absorbed within this that he is scattered and is a very intense person. So definitely a type 5 in my opinion. Also Belle, the Disney princess. She's obviously a type 5 too, but I feel like that one's pretty obvious as well. The best rec I think I can give 5s is Midnight at the Electric by, oh, I can't remember the name, sorry. I read this a few years ago and it's definitely good for a type 5, maybe even a type 4. Yeah, I think a type 4 would like this as well, because it is way back in the day. You are following 3 different time eras. One is like in the 20s, one is like in the 40s, and then one is today, and our main character today is about to go to like the moon to live there, I think, or is it Mars? It's either the moon or Mars. It may be Mars, but we have created a place for humans to live on like another planet, and so our main character is like an astronaut, and she finds some letters from like her family in the past, or maybe it's not her family. Ugh, it's been so long since I read it, but it's just really interesting and mysterious Type 5s love mysteries. They need mystery. They need to feel like they're learning something because they just simply love to learn. And when it comes to books, it's a whole new world. So they just want to, learn about the world. And if the book is not teaching you about something, then they're not going to be interested. So mysteries and thrillers are always the best recommendations for Type 5s. I can't relate because I'm not a big thriller person, but I do really like mysteries. And this book just knocks it out because there's mysteries within each time era, but there's a mystery kind of overall together, and how they like intersect you don't really know. And Type 5s really like vintage type stuff. They like very unique things. Like they definitely gravitate towards something that feels unique to them, that is an individual. And so a lot of times that's like vintagey stuff. So they really like old-timey things, whereas a Type 4 likes pure nostalgia. So I do think a Type 4 would like this as well, because it might give them those like nostalgic feelings as well. But I really like this book. I think I gave it like 4 or 4.5 stars, and it's really, really quick too if you want a quick book. And then of course, like I said, you're always going to see a ton of thriller recommendations as well as mystery recs for Type 5s. So I put on here Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. It is the only thriller I've read this year. I do not read very many thrillers. I ended up giving it 3 stars, but like I said, I don't typically like thrillers, and everyone that likes thrillers likes this book. So I would recommend it to a Type 5, although I don't think it's like the best thriller I ever read. I feel like something like The Secret History or If We Were Villains is going to be really good for a Type 5, because they're getting to learn about groups of people. So like the individual people within the group, and then the overlying mystery, and also the mystery between the people and just everything that's going on. I think they're going to be really intrigued by something like that. So if you are a person that doesn't like typical like mystery thrillers like The Guest List or something like that, then I would definitely gravitate more towards dark academia like The Secret History and If We Were Villains. All right, and my camera is officially about to die. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the next Enneagram videos. There will be 3 Enneagram videos, vlogs, they're kind of in between, coming to you next weekend. I'm almost positive they will come out Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so 1 a day. 3 YouTubers featured in each video, and we are figuring out if our type is really our type, if these recs work for our type. So if you're a reader, or maybe just like the Enneagram in general, you probably will really like it. If you're watching this video and time has passed, the links to the videos will be in the description, of course. Of course, look at your type's coffee on enneagramcoffee.com if you haven't already. It's just such a cool, unique concept and company, and I'm really excited to try it out. But yeah, if you like this video or the Enneagram in general, please give this a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? I do book recs all the time for very specific things, but also vlogs and other fun stuff. And to be notified for those videos, please turn your bell notifications on, because you know how YouTube is. If you watch a YouTuber's videos less and less, they stop putting it in your subscription box. That's how it works, if you didn't already know. So just make sure you turn those bell notifications on so that you will be in the know. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon.